This community member just landed his first 3K AI clients, and today I'm showing you exactly the sales system that I built for him so he can deliver results. And the reason I'm doing this is because I got this thing called First Client Reward, where I give personalized help to every member who got their first clients. And it's also a cool way to provide value to you guys who are in the same spots. Maybe you have a client already, or maybe you are wondering what happens after that first. Yes. So buckle up because the system I'm sharing with you today is simple yet extremely powerful and will make you guys a ton of money. So let's get into it. First client, 3K deal closed. Excited to share that I've closed my first international client. Starter program, 10 intros in 45 days. So a 30K deal, 1.5K upfront, and 1.5K on fulfillment. Now it's time to execute and deliver great results. Yes, that's true. Grateful to Saad and Ibra and this community for the support along the way. More to go. And then we have our friend Ibrahim saying, congrats, reach out if you need any help with fulfillment. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Ibra is like a viewer of mine back in March, and he joined like 6 or 7 months ago, and they're doing pretty well. I believe he's like at around 25K MRR. He has like 10 clients already, so he's killing it. But yeah, congrats to our friend Rahul. If you guys don't know who is Rahul, he is the GOAT, Rahul, right? Rahul.m. Yeah. Has like 720K subscribers and probably like a million on LinkedIn. So he's kind of like a pretty big deal, right? And he is within SSM. And the cool part is when I hopped on a call with him, he said, I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars in my day. But when I first got this first client, it felt surreal. And it's kind of like interesting with like human nature and humans in general, is that even if you've been like winning already, when you go into like another endeavor, a new path, and you get your first win, it feels surreal, right? It's kind of like if you've been playing football your entire life and you've won multiple games. Maybe you're a champion in football, and suddenly you change from football to playing tennis, and now you won your first game. So it feels crazy and surreal, right? So let's just go ahead and help Rahul with delivery. He's a good friend of mine. I speak to him every single day. And this video is going to help him a lot. And it's also going to help you guys a ton because there's a lot of value in this video. I'm going to share with you guys like a system that you can use along with my exact thought process whenever I start fulfilling for a new client. So first, let's explain what his client does, okay? Just to give you guys some context. All right. So I have my Google Doc here. So his client helps doctors keep more money by letting them treat mental health patients at their own clinic instead of sending them somewhere else. Okay, this is his client's offer. Now I'm going to give you guys a TLDR explanation because some of you won't understand like these technical medical terms. Even I don't understand. I had to like really skim through the client's website, the client's onboarding, where he answered all the questions. So it was pretty tough to actually explain what they do. Okay, because it's kind of like this healthcare space, healthcare industry where they speak their own way. They have their own lingo and keywords and industry language that they use. So if you guys don't know, doctors send patients somewhere else because they don't have a therapist or mental health specialist in their clinic. Okay, typical. Sometimes they're not trained to handle mental health stuff like anxiety, depression, ADHD. Sometimes they don't have the tools, time, or systems to treat those patients properly, and it's easier and safer to refer out. So when a patient says, I'm struggling mentally, the doctor usually says, here's someone else who can help, go there. Now, the problem here is that when the patient leaves, so does the revenue, right? Obviously. Well, now here's where the client steps in, and here's what's his fix in. So he's kind of like saying to the doc, hey, doc, we'll give you everything you need to treat that patient here and keep the income. Okay? Now, let's talk about the people that his client wants to talk to. Okay, so it's going to be family doctors, pediatricians, primary care clinics, and specifically practice owners, medical directors, or managing partners. Basically, whoever controls money plus decisions at a clinic. Okay, now let's talk about the system I built for him so he can fulfill, and you can also copy it completely, okay? Because I'm gonna explain it step by step, okay? So, in order for our member to actually fulfill, he'll need to connect his client to the right doctors at the right moment with the right message. This is basically what a connector sales agency is, okay? It builds sales systems, automated lead gen systems that enable businesses to connect with their ideal clients, okay? So, the way we're gonna do this effectively is we're gonna use something called pain signals. So, enter job posting signals. So what we're going to do is we're only going to go for practices currently hiring, because hiring means spending money, which means budget exists. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look for healthcare job posting signals. For example, clinics hiring for a practice manager position, medical director roles, office administrator jobs, healthcare administrator openings. So these roles signal we're scaling our practice and we need help. Okay, so what I've done is I built him a sniper style sales system that I'm gonna also share with you guys that checks job sites every day, okay, or like every 7 days, every 30 days. And if a doctor is hiring new staff, means that they've got money and now they're expanding. So that means, okay, in essence, that they are more likely ready to invest. And then the system is gonna filter out the junk. It only keeps real clinics, because when you scrape job boards, you're gonna cast a wide net. So you're kind of like filtering all the junk. So there's no like toy stores or like no pizza joints there, right? And it only focuses on family docs, pediatricians, and dental offices. So these are the one who actually will use the service, okay? And then again, it finds the decision maker, because we're not going to be talking to no receptionist. And then we're snagging their email. Okay, the system grabs their best email, ideally the doctors, because we got to talk to the one with the checkbook, obviously. And then we send the ouch message, which is, hey, first name, saw your practice is hiring, which usually means things are growing. Wanted to flag something a lot of expanding clinics run into. Every time you refer a behavioral health patient out, you're losing 10 to 15K per provider per month with zero visibility on outcomes. I can enter you to a group that helps practices keep that care and billing in-house without having to build a full mental health department. Want me to connect you? See, this is way relevant and timely, okay? Now, the reason why this system is very powerful, because it has the perfect timing. We find them while they are hiring, which means they've got budgets, okay? So we're not like trying to annoy like a doctor at a random Tuesday, okay? So we're going exactly for the doctors that need the client's service, okay? And it also finds the right person, sends it to the boss, not a random receptionist that's gonna, annoy us, So let me just walk you guys through it in NA10, okay? And let me explain it. So the first step is we have when click and execute, okay? We will change this to, for example, run every 7 days. And then we scrape in the job listing, okay? So we're just using a API and rapid API. It's called JSearch, which is going to be this one. So JSearch. This is basically like it gives you like a query where you have to put the parameters, for example, developer jobs in Chicago, practice manager in New York, SDR in Los Angeles. Okay, you just give it a parameters and check this out. You put the query, which is, for example, here we have in our case practice manager, or let me show you practice manager or medical director healthcare, and then country US, date posted month. You can put here either today, last 24 hours, or week. Okay, so let's just keep it month here for now. And then I'm just adding employment types full-time, which is a stronger signal, because if they're hiring someone full-time, that means they're bleeding. And then the only thing you have to add is basically API key here from the parameters here. So that's the first step, scrape job listings. Now, what we're using is you're just using a code. Okay, now you can totally just use ChatGPT for this. In fact, I'm going to show you how you can do it just by editing the code. So essentially what we're doing is we're trimming the fat, and we're kind of like removing all the job listings that are not within our ideal customer. Okay, so I'll show you how to do this using ChatGPT shortly, but the output is going to be the company, the job title that I'm hiring for, the location, the description, the employer website, and the source, which is healthcare job posting. Okay, which is awesome. And then what we're doing is we are grabbing the decision maker using a Google Search API. So we're Googling the company name that we got from Trim in the Fat, and then we're Googling practice manager or managing partner or medical director or CEO or business owner. So it's kind of like it's kind of like Googling, for example, Microsoft CEO. I'm going to get Bill Gates or Satya Nadella. Okay, so it's Satya Nadella, not Bill Gates. Interesting. So for example, if I put Process CEO, I'm going to get SAT. Okay, so it's the same thing. We're just Googling the company name plus CEO or founder. For example, if I put this company, Atlantic Vision Partners, practice manager or owner. So there we go. Megan Rescher MBA, same thing. Okay, it's kind of like we're Googling it and we're just doing it automatically. So this is the API. It's a method get. You put the rapid API here, the query, put the parameters, the header parameters, and items per batch. Always make sure to batch one every 300 ms, because if you go to Google Search API, you're gonna notice. So I'm in the Pro plan, and in fact, like I've shared the Pro plan free for people because it has like 500K requests, and I have like 4.7 subscribers. So I mean, everybody can eat, right? So we have like 5 requests per second. So it's kind of like when we're batching one every 300 ms, we kind of like get 3.3 requests, okay, which is within our rate limit, okay. So let's just go back. And then we're structuring. So we're structuring, it's kind of like compiling everything. We get the name that we got from here, which is the title. Check this out. Marcelo Celentano. We get in it, we get the title, we get the LinkedIn URL, which is awesome. We get the website, the domain, and is decision maker true? True, 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 true. Because the code is going to specifically get the CEO, director, medical director, CEO, director, which is the decision maker. So this code is pretty smart, but I'm going to show you how you can edit it by giving you like a couple examples from multiple industries. Now, if the structure has a website, because sometimes when you scrape the websites, sometimes when you scrape job listings, like they're not going to include their website. Sometimes they want to hide. So we're only dealing with job listings that include the website. And then we're trying to find all the emails using a platform called Email Finder. Okay, so we find all the emails because sometimes even if we query the first and last name of the decision maker, we're not gonna find the email because sometimes it's like these practice local businesses, healthcare. Sometimes the email is not gonna be found because sometimes it's hidden. Okay, so in our case, we just basically just get all the emails. If you're wondering how do we find in the emails, we're just using an email finder right now, which is this one right here. In his case, he's just going to use the SSM Masters, which is basically same as an email finder, excluding $150 per month because an email finder is expensive. If you go to monthly, well, assuming he's going to use the 5K, it's $150. So this is a platform that I built specifically for the community. So they just lower the cost. As you can see, starting a sales agency shouldn't break the bank. You don't need bloated tools or oversized subs. Build smart, spend less, and scale fast. Reason why I built this, like I said, just because of the price and the investment of an email finder and all these enrichment platforms, because it was a big bottleneck. It was a big issue when I first got started. Like I would spend a lot of money on enrichment platforms. So I was like, okay, how can I make members' life easier by providing real value, which is basically just hiring a couple of developers and just build my own stuff, right? So let's just go back and close this. So once we found the emails, well, we're picking the best email. So this this code essentially gets the right decision maker and gives you the LinkedIn URL, the email found of the founder. So the source is email finder with smart selection. So the code is going to pick the right one based off the first name or the match pattern that we have before @ So before @ domain. So we also give the alternative emails, but the code picks the right one. Okay? Which is very, very smart and scalable. because we want to deal with the decision makers. So we're kind of like squeezing as much juice as possible and being as sniper ish as possible. And then after that, if the email is valid, right, we add everything to instantly. Okay. And at the end, if I go here, as you can see, this is my campaign. If I go to my campaign, I'm going to add the leads here, as you can see. And then I'm going to go to sequence and preview. Hey, Nathan, saw your practice is hiring, which means things are growing. Wanted to flag something a lot of expanding clinics run into. Every time you refer behavioral health patients out, you're losing 10 to 15K per provider per month with zero visibility on outcomes. I can enter you to a group that house practices, keep that here, and billing in-house without having to build a full mental health department. So there we go. Let me just rerun it again, for example, so you can see. Let me just unpin. If I execute, scraping the job listings, trimming the fats, structuring. And the cool part is you can run this every single day or like run it every 7 days. What I would recommend, run it every 7 days. It's way better because you're going to get fresh data. And keep in mind, it's not about volume. And this flow, it's all about having like 10 or 15 practices every single day. That's it. That's it. Because this is called high intent. It's not like spraying or praying. Because if you get 10 every single day and two of them say yes, well, that's a shit ton of money, and you've delivered, okay, for the client, right? So it's not about volume, guys. I always say this, like 100 like leads or 100 prospects that are high intent are way better than 10,000, because in 10,000 I can get, I don't know, if they are just spray and pray, I can get 2 deals. But if it's high intent, I can get 10 from 100. Okay, I can get 10 deals. Okay, I can make a shit ton of money out of that because it's high intent, because it's something that people need, right? So let's go to instantly and we add the new leads. See? So every single day it adds new leads. Now I already ran this like a couple hours ago, probably like 4 hours ago before I started recording this video. And now we have another job listing that falls within our ideal customer or the client's ideal customer. Okay, so if I go to sequence, hey Nathan, if I go to next one, so Nathan Fitzgerald, Ziza, all this stuff, Element Care. Let's check this website. Yeah, healthcare for you. Yeah. So that's how the system works. Now, let's talk about the biggest question that might pop in your head. Can I use this system when fulfilling for any client in any industry? Can I use this for any industry, regardless of the industry? Is this sales system industry agnostic? Well, the answer to this is yes. And let me explain. Okay. This system, yes, works for any business, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because this isn't just for healthcare. It's a growth signal sales system. It's a growth signal automation system that works for any B2B service or local business. Because step one, it finds growth signals, which are job listings, okay, or job postings. It filters out your market. It finds the decision makers, owners, directors, VPs, gets their contact info, emails, LinkedIn profiles, just like I showed you, and sends the relevant message to them. Okay. Now, in terms of examples, you can totally use this for any industry, like I said. For example, if your client, let's say you closed a client in the SaaS space, or like your client is a SaaS, they sell a software. Okay. For example, they sell CRM. Okay. Well, the signal obviously is going to be companies hiring for sales manager. And in your message, you can say, saw your scaling sales, most growing teams lose 30% of leads and spreadsheets. Here's why my client's software is better. See how you can use the pain signals? This is exactly how I've managed to scale, okay? Because you have to go beyond just the generic outreach, okay? And these kind of sales systems just use the pain signals and you just change the position. You just change the job title, okay? Now, let's say you close a client and your client is a marketing agency. Well, company is hiring for marketing director. Boom, right? So the message is, saw your expanded marketing. Most companies waste 40% of ad spend on wrong audiences. My clients can do this better, right? This is just a copy that I whipped up like 10 minutes before I recorded this video. And then if you have like accounting firm, let's say your client is an accounting firm. So the signal is companies hiring for CFO or finance manager, right? Message: saw you hire in finance leadership. Most growing companies overpay 25% in taxes. Here's why my clients' accounting services are better. This is where you put your client's offer. Let's say, for example, you're working with a company, maybe like an SEO, let's say an SEO agency. You can look for companies hiring for SEO specialists. You can use this for your own sales agency. Look for companies hiring for sales, SDRs, sales reps. Growth signal, because an SDR entire job is cold call and email people. They don't have sales, they don't know how to use AI to research people, build this stuff, okay? So the core principle here is that every business faces predictable challenges during growth phases. Hiring, scaling challenges. There's another pain signal, it's called funding, which means resource allocation decision. We have the money, we need to make good decisions. And the expansion, which is operational complexity. Okay, that's a good signal if you're working with recruitment agencies. If there's like a new product launch and you are working with a recruitment agency, well, product launch just means we need to hire more developers, more AI engineers. Boom, you just found your signal. Now, and again, we have the leadership changes, new priorities, which means they are looking to change their trajectory in their business. Again, it's still a growth signal, so you can sell them your service. Now, this client, like I said, just an example to prove the concepts. The system adapts to any industry where growth creates predictable problems that your service solves. In our case, sales system services and sales automation services. Okay? So let's just try this. For example, let's try as a marketing agency. We can do it. What do you guys want? Marketing agency or like an SDR? I believe like a big chunk of people are going to be like SDR. So yeah, since I'm a cool guy, I'm going to do SDRs and also marketing director. For example, let's just go to NA10 and let me check if I'm recording. Yes, I am recording. Awesome. So I'm going to go to job listing, and for example, I'm going to put SDR or BDR. There we go. Actually, just so I give you guys the actual system, let me just download this. Yeah, let me just download this and let me just duplicate. Yeah. So let's just name this playground system copy. Let's duplicate. Let's close this. And now we can play with it however we want. So again, let's just go here, SDR. So the only thing I have to do is SDR or BDR, for example. BDR is basically like the same as SDR. Or. And then, yeah. So let's just execute. And we got a couple ones. So business development representative. Let's check this website. So this company is looking for an SDR. What do they do? Oh, robotics. Wow. Oh my God. We got NVIDIA here. They make a shit ton of money. Wow. Like, what's their ideal clients? This is someone like I would want to work with. I like this robotics stuff. AI-driven robotics to solve real-world challenges. Like, I can tell they make a shit ton of money, and they are hiring for SDRs. And we just literally saw this now, as you guys can see, which is very interesting, right? Like, opportunity is there, and I mean, think about it. Like, we are in Q4. If you're not doing outreach, you're missing out on a ton of money. Like, this is what I mean by actual, like, good companies. So, anyways, let's just structure this by pinning this so we don't have to rerun the entire thing. So we're gonna get the decision maker. So now I'm gonna go to this code and check this out. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to NA10 assistant. I'm gonna say I'm targeting or I'm scraping job listings of companies hiring for sales. This is my initial code for healthcare, for a healthcare client. Help me tailor it based off companies hiring for sales, SDR, BDR, etc. So we should replace the healthcare specific job titles and keywords. There we go. Because we're not trying to build stuff here, right? We're not trying to be a developer. There we go. Company, location, and we got 10 items. Very easy, as you guys can see. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to copy this. Now let's go for decision makers. Let's go for decision makers. Great. You're pivoting from healthcare specific decision maker into sales decision makers, likely SDR or BDR, which is going to be VP of sales. Like I always say, VP of sales, sales director, revenue operations, founder. I always say this, guys. Whenever you go for like sales like position, it's always going to be sales manager, sales director. Yeah. VP of sales. Or founder or co-founder, not CTO. Okay. Let's edit this. There we go. And let's execute. Perfect. Awesome. Alex Atwood. Is it the right decision maker? Gravy work. True. So it looks like don't you guys think? He looks like that guy. It's called, I don't remember the name. Don't you guys remember that? I don't know the name of that person. He always like speak publicly in podcasts. Anyways, so now let's just keep going with this. We're just gonna pin this. And then we're gonna try to find all the emails. And then let's just execute. There we go. And done. Done. We found the email, which is awesome. Check out the picking the best email. So the CEO, we found the CEO, right? So we get the, which is email finder smart decision, priority highest, email score is 100. See, that's how you do it. Now, again, same thing. As you guys can see, we can do the same thing. For example, let's go to the documents. For example, we put marketing agency, just marketing director. And you just put marketing director. And then you go to the code, copy it, and you say the same thing. Hey, I'm going for my client is a marketing agency, or I am scraping job listings for marketing director. Please edit the code, and it's gonna give you the code. Same thing here in terms of like structuring, and that's it, and you'll be golden. All right. So there we go, guys. Now you have everything that you need. You kind of understand that the system is industry agnostic, so you can totally use it when fulfilling for a client or using it to get yourself clients, because like I said, it's a good system for companies hiring for sales. Okay, so there we go, guys. Now we have everything that you need to get up and running as quickly as possible, get yourself a client, and essentially just crush it in life. So the only thing you have to do is get out there, take action. I believe in you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.